E te iwi, tēnā koutou katoa. Good evening and welcome everyone from Ngarawahia. Later, Hilary and Alistair will have the rest of the day's news. But we begin by looking at the big story of the day, the funeral of the Maori Queen. We have the funeral itself. Then the coffin making its way by waka along the Waikato River, followed by the difficult climb up Taupiri Mountain. Rugby league players taking the ropes to haul the coffin up the hillside. We also look at the Queen's successor, her son Tuheitia Paki, who took the throne this morning after days of deliberation by tribal leaders. How will he fit into his role as king, and will he try to steer Māoridom in a different direction? But first, our reporter covering the funeral is Scott Campbell.
Hinga tu hei te te kura, aramaira hei te te kura. As one leader goes, another rises. Even before the body of Te Arikinui Te Atairangikaahu had left, her successor was crowned. Te Arikinui Tuheitia Paki, her eldest son.
Te iu e rangi tāpā mai tā tātou tama hei kingi. Hei kingi. Hei kingi. Quat.
As the funeral service began, Tongan Princess leve was among the first to speak, and then a message from Queen Elizabeth, delivered by Sean Elias, the acting Governor-General.
Dame Te Ata gave a lifetime of service and dedication. I remember warmly my own visit to Turangawaiwai and my meetings with Dame Te Ata. Her leadership, dignity and compassion will long be remembered.
3 doves were released as a symbol of her departing spirit, but one lingered, eyeing those who had gathered and taking in a karakia before finally departing. At the end of the service, Dame Te Ata's coffin was taken from the marae, draped in the korowai or cloak, which had belonged to her father, King Koroki. Thousands filled the banks on both sides of the river to bid farewell. Tūmanako, the waka which carried the coffin, was part of a fleet Princess Tupuia Hirangi had built in the 1950s. As it took to the water, the Queen's paddlers bowed in salute as a sign of respect to the river and their great leader. Waikato he awa kuru pounamu, he peko he taniwha, he peko he taniwha. Tainui are one with the Waikato River, and that was made apparent as Te Arikinui made her journey down the river. Flanked by 2 other waka and helped by a quick current, the main canoe slipped down the river to Taupiri, where thousands more waited, many having arrived on special trains from Ngarawahia. The mountain was shrouded in mist, perhaps a sign her ancestors were waiting too. Guideboats tethered the waka as it approached the landing platform to ensure the coffin made a safe arrival. Dame Te Ata was welcomed by a pōheri, which extended all the way up to the summit. Those carrying her left nothing to chance on the steep path leading to the burial site, enlisting the help of 2 local rugby league clubs, who are arch rivals on the field, to work together to pull the coffin up the hill. A passionate haka guiding Te Arikinui Te Atairangikaahu to her final resting place. Nō reira, moi mai rā e te tōtara haimata. Scott Campbell, 3 News.
The new Maori king and leader of the kingitanga movement is the eldest son of Dame Te Ata. He will be known as King Tuheitia and will face the task of unifying Tainui and Māoridom. Tuheitia Paki is 51 years old. He's married with 3 children. He was the Tainui cultural advisor at Te Wānanga o Aotearoa and was educated locally at Raukaumanga School in Huntly and at St Stephen's College in Bombay. I've been looking into the challenges that the new Māori king may face and how Māoridom might receive him.
Senior Tainui elder Tui Adams asks, do you want this man to be your king?
Hei kingi. Hei kingi.
The answer is yes.
Kia ora tātou.
Te Arikinui Tuheitia Paki, officially crowned with the Bible used in the coronation of his mother and previous Māori kings. Outside the marae, the news filters through to the thousands that have gathered. The kingitanga movement has a new head. Māoridom, a new king.
Very humble young man. I should be careful about that, talking age. He's been raised within the kingitanga, within his own family, and has been part of this movement from the day he was born.
They've got an successor now. They've named the successor. I find that weird. It's like you don't know to be happy or sad or what. Kind of weird, yeah.
And what do you hope that the new king will bring to Māori?
Oh, the same that the Māori Queen did, just keep doing things for Māori and keeping the people together and stuff.
The 51-year-old director of Te Wānanga o Aotearoa was widely tipped to succeed his mother. Most agree he faces a huge challenge.
You have to remember that Te Arikinui was probably in her prime in her last 10 to 15 years. She was 40 years on the job. So the new king has really got to get his head around what's happening in terms of Māori leadership, not just in Tainui, but right around the country.
How are we going to convince my grandchildren that he's the man?
Yes, because looking at the mass turnout here, he needs to be a king of the people, doesn't he?
Well, I guess so. Maybe he's the person that we need to support. But we got to look at it as he's the figurehead.
Te Arikinui Tuheitia Paki's people are only supportive and confident the spirit of Dame Tiata will continue to influence.
Personally, it'll be a good thing for us, people of Tainui and Waikato.
He's got big shoes to fill, hasn't he?
Very much, and big jeans at it too. So hopefully in the future, he will also do great things for us Waikato and Tainui people, not for just us, but every other iwi and Aotearoa as well.
What do you hope that the new king will bring to Māori?
Te whakakotahi o te iwi Māori, o Aotearoa, te kotahi tano o te iwi.
Which is?
The unity of all the people, because that's what his mum did.